All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out, tuning in once again. Here we are. We're going to be expounding about the youth forum that's coming up of the Unspoken Truth on May 13th. It's me, the host, Keenan Hudson. Yes, if you haven't already, the book, Unspoken Truth, feel free. Go to KeenanHudson.com. Tune in because it's a great read for anybody young and old. But here we are. We have some major people here, major guests here today. Yes, you might see some familiar faces, but then there's some faces you may not know. But we're going to go ahead and let Miss Karen James go ahead and expound a little bit on who everybody is and what to be expecting on May 13th. Hey, Miss Karen, how you doing?
Hey, Keita. Good. We looking forward. I'm so excited over here. We're going to get together on May 13th at the
Uh-huh.
community umbrella organization called the Net. It's located
Ooh,
at 2701 North Broad Street. That's right off
yes.
of Broad and Lehigh. We'll be there May 13th, 11 a.m. We're going to have children and youth coming together from across the city to discuss ideals and suggestions on how to make changes in our community and learn powerful ways to overcome adversity. We're going to have
Indeed.
some major players and some major speakers, and we're getting ready to introduce a few of them to you right now. We'll have
Mhm.
Lukman Abdullah. He's a family community advocate who works with the School District of Philadelphia, and he's a renowned writer and author at the Scoop newspaper. And also, I'm going to throw it on over to Principal Pelzer, and he'll introduce himself.
All
Good
right.
evening. My name is Principal Pelzer, Hildebrand Pelzer III. I'm a principal, an author, and speaker, and I'm so looking forward to the event that's coming on May 13th. It's all about the youth, and this is the place to be on May 13th. Please stay tuned, listen to this information, listen to the words coming from the keynote and Keenan Hudson, who has a powerful message to share with everyone. And I look forward to just supporting his efforts and the efforts of Karen James and everyone.
And then we're also going to have Irene Blackwell. We have her with us today as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Irene Blackwell, and it's an honor to be with this wonderful group. I want to give honors and respect to Keenan Hudson for inviting me to be on his panel. Again, you don't want to miss the opportunity to bring the youth out to this event. There's new faces that God prepared to stand in front of them youth to help reform the youth in the city of Philadelphia. It's going to be exciting. We coming there. We coming for you youth. So come on out and get all the information that you need. I want to tell you this. You won't be disappointed. Parents, bring your children. You're going to hear some stories. Um, Short stories. And I'm going to tell you, those stories are going to change your life. It's going to help bring positive mindset to the youth. So you don't want to miss it. Come on
That's
out and listen to the panel.
yes. And the first 50 youth, Irene, the first 50 youth that come, they'll have a free book autographed by the author Keenan Hudson. We'll also
Mm-hmm.
have some great and wonderful door prizes. We have authors that's sitting with us today, and you'll get access to those books as well. We'll have wonderful resources. So definitely May the 13th from at 11 a.m. 2701 North Broad Street. That's right off of Broad and Lehigh. You'll see us out there, and we would like to see you there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank y'all. Like I said, I know we were speaking about the May 13th event, but tonight we was just going to expand on a little bit about key factors of development for today's young adults. And again, I know that a lot of us can, bounce around on that because nowadays, it seems like that our today's youth needs a little guidance in certain areas in their lives. I know that a lot of parents, you have a lot of single parent homes. You have a lot of parents that are not able to tend to youth as they want to because there's a lot of distractions and a lot of responsibilities out in the world. But I want to just throw out there that one of the main, and I know Principal Pelzer can expound on it too, is concerning education, being educated. Mr. Pelzer, if you can expound just a little bit on why, is education is a key factor for the development of a youth for today.
Education is a life skill. Education is it. We talk a lot about school. We talk a lot about school community. We talk a lot about teaching and learning. But getting that education is the opportunity that you give yourself to navigate the world. You give yourself to navigate how you're going to make it in this world. And the reality is you need an education. You need that basic early literacy, early education. You need that secondary education, and you need career and technical and educational opportunities even beyond that. That's how the world is set up so that we can navigate it. And young people who do not buy into education suffer. Young people who do not believe in school, who fear school, who have apathy for school, they suffer. And I've seen those students who suffered, whether that be inside of the incarcerated setting or whether that be inside of the traditional school setting. And so when I look at and compare and contrast students who thrive and young people who grow and develop, it's because they've embraced education.
Yes.
Powerful. Anybody else? Anything on that?
Yeah, definitely one of the key reasons that we pull together this youth forum is also to be thought partners with our young adults. And when we think about education and transparency is knowledge, that we also want to get from them to glean into the minds of the young people and get them to be thought partners with us on how we can create legacies, how we can work with them and to bring peace into our neighborhoods. We don't want to stop talking about the violence and we want to start talking about peace. And we want to really pull and glean from these young people the power of thought and the power of being intellectual. And so having this forum, coming together to just have an intellectual forum to talk about education, the power of education, because when you know how to do better, when you know what's out there that's better for you, you're going to make those better choices. So, and I just want to, one of the things we wanted was just a forum for the young people to come together and have these creative and intellectual conversations because they bring a spirit that we don't have as older adults. And I don't think we're listening and we're not really hearing from them as much as we should. We hear our voices more and what we want and not what they want. So this youth forum gives them an opportunity to have their truth spoken.
Gotcha. Irene,
Mhm.
anything on
But
that?
education, yes, education is very important. And it is the key to success is education. And the input I would like to give to the youth is let your voice be heard. Again, let your voice be heard in the most profound professional way. And in order for us to reach you and help guide you on the right path, we need to hear your voice next month. We need to know your thoughts. Because if you sit in your thought pool, but it's silent, then how are we going to help you? How are we going to help direct your path and order your steps? Because most of the youth today in the city of Philadelphia, their silentness is leading to range, and the range is leading to violence. So come next month, youth, have your questions ready. Don't be shy, because each boy and girl in the room, everybody that's on this video, we were you at one point in time. I was the little girl at one time who was silent. I have a voice. I want to help you find your voice, and I want to help that voice be heard.
Excellent.
Cool. And I just wanted to touch on that just a little bit. Like you said, piggybacking off of what Principal Pelzer was saying, that usually, with education, when a child is not educated, it's not the end of their life, but it's like a road to destruction. So, because what I noticed that, when I was incarcerated in the House of Correction, and this is actually before Principal Pelzer came and changed a lot of the curriculum there. There were a lot of uneducated youth. There was a lot of youth that were paying me, to write letters for them and things of that nature. And it started, dawning on me on why, my mother used to tell me, listen, you have to go to school. You have to go get an education, reading, writing, arithmetics. was so important, because if you don't have those essentials, you wouldn't know how to navigate in life. You wouldn't know how to read a stop sign. You don't know how to read, any type of navigation of driving a car. So when I see that, it's like, wow. I look at a lot of the youth that are still incarcerated from the time when I was when I was incarcerated, and they're still uneducated. They're still, trying, to get through life, and it's extremely hard. So that seems like why it's so much of a struggle for when people do return to society. They have no other outlet because they don't know. Well, I'm gonna say they don't know anything, but they're not educated enough to feel as if they can succeed, in the game of life. So, and like I said, I threw education out there just to, just to expound on. But do anybody else have any key factors of the development of today's young adults?
Miss Karen, you look like you're getting ready to say something.
You see, did you see me? And,
Yeah, I saw you.
I think, and I just want to drop this too, that, with education that's the catalyst to everything. So with education comes creativity. With creativity comes productivity. And with that productivity and creativity and education combined, it comes comprehension. So now you can make better choices. So when we think about those that got into situations that became incarcerated, then they didn't use every strand like that I just mentioned, and it's way more than just creativity, productivity, comprehension. You start using your brain, so to speak, and you make better choices. And so education is the catalyst to everything. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Absolutely. I met a young man one time, 18, 19 years old, in Quran Farmhold Correctional Facility, CFCF. And I'm gonna make this story a short one, a mini one, but I talk about it in my book. In the Philadelphia prison system, the adults earned a GED. And this young man reached out through a social worker to tell me thank you. At the time, I didn't know why he was thanking me, but I learned later that he earned his GED, and it was my team who administered it. But when I reached out to the young man and found out more about him, because I was, really unsure why he was thanking me, because we do this monthly at the Philadelphia prison system all the time. So it wasn't unusual for adults in the system to get their GED if they went through the classes. But this young man earned his GED for two reasons. One was to make his mom proud of him and to make his family proud of him. That was one gift he could give back to them to show that he achieved something. And then the second reason was because he was sentenced to death. And it was the only thing that really kept his mind focused as he balanced his court case, which eventually he was sentenced to death and was sent away to a death row institution. And that told me about the power of education, that even in that kind of mind state facility, that education was something that he could grab hold of to not only develop himself, but also to make his parents proud of him. So education is important. It enhances your life. It is something at the end of the day that we all want to achieve. And in this case, this young man achieved it, although he had bypassed it for so many years, or, living in crime and those type of things. But eventually he got it. But we don't want it to be that type of situation before you realize that education is important.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Keenan, someone put in the chat about the voice. Education is the voice of the voice.
Yeah.
A voice
of the
to
voice.
the voice. I thought that was powerful. I just want
to
bring
Mr. Eric Smith here. He actually wrote something else too. Sorry if it's blocking anybody out. But he says having a good, solid education is the same thing as having a key ring with multiple amount of keys on it. Each key opens the door. Each educational accomplishment opens the door for communication on a social setting, as well as in academic circles. When you invest in children's education, it specifically allows them a little by little, which each success to feel good about themselves and get them a powerful drive to learn more, to be more, and not to let their environment dictate their personal. That's very
So
powerful.
that's Keenan. What's that gentleman's name that wrote that?
Right there, Mr. Eric Smith. Mr. Eric Smith.
Mr. Eric Smith, I want to say that's so powerful and it touched me in such a way because as a woman who was incarcerated, when I came home, my education was key. I learned through incarceration how important education was. I went and graduated with my associate's degree first. I was so proud of myself with a youth certification. I moved further and obtained my bachelor's and now my master's. And the reason I did them things, because I needed to know more about my home, my family. So when I developed that education format in my life and for myself, it gave me a broader picture to see my community. Why do you function the way they do in our community? So education will open plenty of doors for you, but we have to help the youth understand and identify you versus you and self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So are there any other like key factors that we can throw out there just as an overall, development stage for today's youth?
Yeah. I think positive family communication is also important. And just having that positive family communication to be able to, talk about and to know what's available, the resources that's available, and going through it together. When I was at the school district of Philadelphia, I worked a program called the Parent University. And the
Mm-hmm.
Parent University was excellent because it gave the parents the opportunity to learn at the same time their children was learning. So what they were learning in school and where they may have lack at, they may have lack in reading. The Parent University offered reading classes for adults. If
Mm-hmm.
adults did not graduate from high school, or if the system failed them in a way that they didn't give them a quality education, they also had an opportunity to go back to school through our educational options program to get their high
Mm-hmm.
school diplomas. And with that positive, when their children was watching their parents go back and rededicate their lives to education, it motivated, it built confidence, it brought the family together as a unit, and I just watched them strive going to next levels together. We had parents graduating from high school with their children. We had parents that was like, who's going to get to college first? It was just a
Mm-hmm.
movement within itself. So I think positive family communication, when we put on forums like we're putting on, come out with your children,
Yeah.
learn what they learn, and listen to them, and learn from the whole situation that they may be experiencing stuff that we never had to experience
Absolutely.
before. And so
Yeah.
it's so that family dynamic is really important.
Very important. And when you speak of this, it kind of brings me back to like some of the studying that I've done in the past, especially concerning like the 8 domains of life. Whether it be the education, your financial, your environment, your health, your personal development, recreation, and your spirituality, even relationships. These type of things are like it's like an equilibrium of a balance in life. A lot of these things, you have to have a little bit of everything. You can't just work, and not be able to just, relax. If not, you're gonna find yourself on an off balance scale. And again, it's all it's a lot of things, that a lot of youth, like I said, the youth forum, these are things that has to be explained. It has to be, expressed, because a lot of youth just don't know. They just
Right.
think, how many of the youth, today, they're not even 18, but they just think money grows on trees, or, that parents don't work hard to get them what they have. And some people that don't know that it's a real struggle out here. But again, a lot of our youth, they look with their eyes, they visualize and see things. And a lot of times we say, okay, hey, don't act the way I act, but do as I say. But how are we going to do that if we're not being that example? You
Right.
know what I mean? And again, but like I said, I'm just throwing that out there. Like I said, that A domain is like it's a huge impact in the factors of life in general.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their parent university was a major impact, because it also, as you said, modeled, also not only gave parents resources and tools and opportunities to excel in their own education, but it helped them model parenting for their children, and so that the parents who participated in it, their children were better for it. And so I definitely encourage and concur with everyone that parents should come out to the forum as well,
Mm,
these resources and tools right along with their children,
mhm.
and so that they both can walk away with a conversation that they can have about what they heard.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then
Absolutely.
for those youth that may not have like the traditional family, have that nucleus family. If you
Mhm,
in youth groups, and if you a youth leader, or you a coach,
Yeah.
anyone that's in a position to take the place of the traditional family, because that's what's happening with our youth as well, is that they're not. They may not have that family structure like we had, pouring
Mhm.
into them, giving them guidance, giving them structure, and they're making up stuff as they go along, because they're just that
Absolutely.
intellectual that they knowing how to survive, they're doing things, and they're making decisions on their own. And
Absolutely.
mhm,
so, for those that's in position to bring youth out and stand in proxy of a
mhm.
parent or guardian,
Mhm.
to a child, I think that's important, that we build that community around those youth that don't have that traditional family
Absolutely.
structure, for
Absolutely.
lack of a
Absolutely.
better
Mhm.
word. Yes.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
see some comments real quick. I see some comments here.
Okay.
I see Jackie. She said education is something no one can ever take away from you either. That's absolutely true. That's a powerful
Yeah.
thing. Your mind, it's a terrible thing to waste, but once you fill it with
Mhm.
knowledge, it's powerful.
Yeah.
You have Jackie here says, yeah, we got to strengthen their beliefs in themselves by giving them the right information to be confident and well rounded. That's
That's
absolutely
right.
true. Because a lot of times we forget that. I mean, it's sad to say, but sometimes parents are dream killers.
Right.
A lot of time these kids be wanting to do things, but parents don't want to invest in it. They'll tear you down. There's been plenty of times where I've been just tore down, like, wow, like I really have an
Mhm.
interest in something, but no, we ain't gonna do that. No, you can't do that. You're wasting your time. What you doing? Like, no,
Yeah.
we shouldn't do that. We should be building them up, chasing their dreams.
Right.
And
That's
then here we
right.
go. Yeah, Miss Sophia, she
Yeah.
mentioned about mentors.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. All these things are good. Like I said, all these people,
Hmm.
parents, mentors, coaches, leaders of nonprofit organizations, people, after school program teachers. We invite everybody out to this forum because it's going to be very powerful.
Yeah.
Like I said, learning from, many of the panelists, and I myself as well. This is it's going to be very powerful.
It
Absolutely.
is. And
You know,
Sophia,
I
when she mentioned
yeah.
Mhm,
mentorships, mentorships too, like sometimes I don't do mentorships in the traditional way, but any young person that I come in contact with, I'll say things like, you're an intellectual genius. And they'll look at me like, and I know in their minds they may be saying, I'm struggling in math, and I'm struggling in
mhm,
reading, and my handwriting is not so good. And
mhm,
but you're an intellectual genius, and just that
Mhm.
spark and just that thought to even perceive themselves in that way, and don't let anybody take that, because we really are born with intellect. Our children, you watch them now when they grow, they sitting up, they know their name is, they 1 month old, and the 6 month old children are sitting there watching the cell phones. So they're
mhm.
intellectual geniuses, and it's up
Mhm.
to us as adults to keep nurturing that genius that's within.
Yeah.
So also, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they're sponges. They're always ready to learn new things. They're watching adults. They'll model adults, so adults have to set the right tone and set the right image in front of them.
That's right.
And one of the biggest things I know, and I want this word here to get out to all the parents. I am a parent who made this mistake, who's learned from the mistakes of myself as when I was a young child, and learned also from my children. We have a picture that we want to see our children. We have this picture. We can't forget that our children have their own picture. And we have to be the guiding principle to what they want to be. You may think that your daughter or son is supposed to be a lawyer. That girl or that boy may want to be football or basketball. So we have to invest in their talent, in their gift, that they realize that we have, not what we want them to have. Most of our children fail because our parents become competitive because of what their friends' children have. So then we put our children in this race, in this 100-meter yard race, and they fail, they collapse, and they begin to run from us, run to the streets, because we never heard their story. We never paid attention to their vision. We never supported their vision. So we would just take time and sit and talk with our children and ask them, what is your vision? Yeah. What is your mission? And do we apply to that? We apply to that. And I guarantee you, if parents would take some time and give to their children, our children will turn back away from the streets, because the streets will invest in your children if you don't.
Yeah. And you make a good point, like you said, because comparison is not a great thing. And I'll tell this little story. About a couple of weeks ago, actually my business partner, his son wanted to, start like a little music group. So we told him that we'll support you as long as you do the right thing. So he brought his little friends around him, like, hey, yeah, we're going to audition a little bit because I do music, I can make beats and things like that. But what happened was one of the kids said, he said, Dad, I didn't have this type of support. Had I had this type of support, I know I could have been far in the industry already. And I was thinking like that. He makes a good point. Again, if that person doesn't have a mentor or a role model in their life, showing, hey, you can do that.
And the first role model is the parent.
Is the parent.
And then outside of the parent is the village, which is us, to help that parent continue support and push that child.
To push that child, parents have to, like you say, push the kid to do something. A lot of time but you got to remember, the modern day age now, they just giving them a tablet or an iPhone and pacifying them, thinking that YouTube or TikTok is going to teach the child. That's not a good thing. What happened to kids having imaginations? Us saying, hey, we can be a superhero, we can be this or be that. But nowadays, there's not too much more of that. There's a lot of cyberbullying. People are thinking certain things. I know it's coming up on 30 minutes, y'all. But yeah, it's a lot. And I want to definitely get some of these little questions and these comments here. It says, Jackie said, that's a good point. You gotta listen and understand them before you try to influence them. Absolutely. Ms. Sophia, she mentioned again, another important factor is the youth must be present in a room of discussions so they can tell us how we can make a difference. They must be present. Absolutely. That's how it got to go. You got to listen to the kids' voice. As Irene even said, they got to voice their opinions, but we got to be willing to listen. As an adult, to hear how can I make change. I made a post on that. Actually, I did a reel on it with some kids out Strawberry Mansion, and I said, hey, how can we be a better source of resource for you guys? And they will expounded on it. You know what I mean? It says that was so powerful. The streets will invest in you if the parents don't. Absolutely. It's true.
We see that.
If they ain't getting it at the household, they're gonna get it in the streets.
Yeah.
So the streets is going to teach them, not in a good way.
They're going to get it in YouTube.
Absolutely.
If they don't get it in YouTube, they get it in TikTok.
Yeah.
And
Technology is raising our children. Absolutely.
yeah.
So, like I said, I know we coming up on 30 minutes. I know we didn't want to be on there all night, but I mean, if we could still kick it if you want to go, Mr. Pels. I definitely want you to expound more on your book as well, Mr. Pels. That'll be great. Like I said, and tell them just a little bit about that, man, because it's very inspiring.
The book is called Unlocking Potential, Organizing a School Inside a Prison. It's an educational book. It speaks to the importance of education. It also speaks to the value of education during incarceration and public school factors that contribute to incarceration. And the backdrop of the book is the Philadelphia prison system, where I was once the principal of the Philadelphia School for juveniles and adults. And so that's a place that I don't ever want to see young people experience. And so education is so critical. And as you mentioned, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, video games, or the streets, that's why educators have to be focused and intentional about how they influence, help, support, and serve young people, because those factors, TikTok, YouTube, social media, the streets, are powerful. They're strong. They have engagement, and kids are looking for engagement. Young people are looking for engagement, but school and good teachers and good classrooms can also offer that engagement to keep those minds focused. And if not, they're going to go down a different path.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, does anybody else from the panelists have anything else they want to expound on before we exit out of here?
It's basically all about the mindset. I'm gonna continue to push that, and I believe the principal can, know where I'm coming from when I say that. Is the mindset. Again, is you versus you. The youth, you don't have to be involved in any destructive behavior if you know that's not what you're part of. You can walk away. You have the power to walk away. Walk away. And when you know better, you do better. I'm quite sure that the youth today are influenced. So we are coming here today on this live to influence you. So come out next month and get more influence. Hear the powerful words. Accept what we're saying, but also the biggest part of next month is what you have to say. I want to hear from all of you. I don't want a silent voice in the room. I would like to hear from all the youth that's planning on being in attendance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There it is. Miss Karen, you have anything? Mr. Pelzer?
No,
everything's good.
A little tidbit,
Yeah.
May 13th is going to be
lit,
resourceful. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be informative. It's going to be the place to be. As Miss Irene said, that's the place to be. And we want to hear from them. So talked earlier about questions that we may have, but we want them to bring their questions to ask us to be a part of the discussion, so that we can have a discussion that's built off of some of their questions as well, and some of the things they want to get more insight on.
Excellent. So as the youth say, right, it's going to be lit, but as the teachers say in school, it's going to be literacy.
Powerful. First time I heard that.
Okay.
That's it. It's going to be lit. Like I said, May 13th. Again, first 50 registrants, first 50 youth. Again, they come out to get a free autographed copy of the book. I'm telling you, you guys try to get there early. There will be additional books, but of course, to be purchased after the first 50. Again, Hildebrand, Principal Pels will be there as well. You have his book too. Mr. Pels, if you could tell them your website as well to check you out.
Yeah, Hildebrand Pelzer 3, the number 3, Hildebrand Pelzer 3.com.
Irene, would you like any last remarks?
Don't meet me there, family. Beat us there.
Okay, cool.
And then on behalf of one of our other panelist speakers that wasn't able to join us tonight, Lukman Abdullah, he's a family engagement liaison for the School District of Philadelphia. He's a father and a community activist. He's also going to bring a nice element of conversation to the room as well.
Absolutely.
And I know Luke Mon, and he is a powerful brother, has a lot of experience and insights, and is just doing incredible work just to help young people in need.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice. That's great. So y'all, so I believe that's probably going to conclude our show for tonight. Like I said, thank you everybody for coming out to come and listen out, about the youth forum that's coming up on the 13th. We had a great, topic and discussion on tonight. So I just pray and hope that everybody has a wonderful night, and we hope to see you all on May 13th. Again, but we never know. We may see us on here again live before May 13th, depending on, what we agree upon. But until next time, everybody take care and have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.